The Old Man and the Crows. In a quiet village on the edge of a vast forest, an old man named Govin lived alone. His small hut was surrounded by gnarled trees, and his only companions were the crows that perched on their twisted branches. Every morning, Govin would step outside with a handful of rice, scattering it on the ground. The crows, black as the night sky, would swoop down, cawing loudly as they ate. Govind had been doing this for decades. He spoke to the crows as if they were old friends. "Ah, Raju, you're back today," he would say, pointing at the largest crow with a white speck on its wing. "And where is Choti? She never misses a meal." The villagers often mocked him. "Why do you waste food on these noisy creatures?" they asked. "They bring nothing but bad omens." Govind only smiled. "They are my family," he said. "They listen when no one else does." One day, a terrible drought struck the village. The river dried up, the fields turned to dust, and food became scarce. The villagers struggled to survive, and many stopped feeding the animals. But Govin, frail as he was, still set aside a handful of rice for his crows. "A promise is a promise," he murmured. Then one evening, as Govin lay weak from hunger, he heard a strange rustling outside. Dragging himself to the door, he saw a sight that made his old heart swell. Dozens of crows, each carrying something in its beak. They dropped grains, berries, and even small nuts at his feet. Raju, the largest crow, hopped closer and let out a deep, knowing caw. Tears welled in Govin's eyes. "You remembered," he whispered. From that day, the crows took care of him as he had taken care of them. They brought food daily, and the villagers, seeing this miracle, no longer mocked him. Instead, they began leaving food for the birds, realizing that kindness, even to the smallest creatures, always returns in ways one never expects. When Govind finally passed away, the village found something astonishing. The crows did not leave. They perched on his roof, cawed mournfully, and every evening they brought grains to the doorstep of his empty hut, as if waiting for him to return. And so, the legend of the old man and the crows lived on, a story of loyalty, kindness, and the bond between man and nature.